Morning viewers. Right, welcome back to the channel, guys and girls. And yet another Mark 3 Focus RS. Okay. Great to welcome another new customer, Robert from Surrey, I believe. So he's come a fair way to come down to see us. Bit different on this one again. This is what we like. I've always said before, love when customers offer different things. So he's come down for, first and foremost, our upgrade meth kit with our software, which we tested on our own car. So Robert's going to be having the 455 methanol map, amongst other things. So we'll share that with you as we go through with the install. We've got it on a 2-poster ramp at the moment. Reason being is we need to address the oil leak problem, which is always the same to me, isn't it?
Yep.
So it's been back to the dealer 3 times, I think, and he's pretty much had enough of them. I don't know what, I can't really, I mean, it's just, I find it hard to believe that they can just get it so wrong and can't identify the problem. They keep changing the feed pipe from the turbo. It's not the feed pipe from the turbo. Sometimes they do leak, of course. I've had them where they're leaking from the pipe. So there's a combination. You can have it leaking from the pipe, you can have it leaking from the pipe and the timing cover, or you can have it leaking from both. I've seen it all, but it's fairly, you know, it's a bit of common sense really. You know, clean it all off and then investigate where it's leaking from. Because they've seen a drip hanging off the bottom of the feed pipe into the block, they instantly think it's the pipe leaking. It's not. The oil leak's coming from higher up, and obviously it gets hot, runs down, drips down, creates a big drip, drips down onto the feed pipe. Oh my god, it's the feed pipe. It's not. It's coming from higher up. So it's the timing chain cover. So where this has been in for the recall, as per usual, where they've not concentrated and took their time sealing that timing chain cover properly. Now I've got to take it all apart, which I don't mind doing. So that's another reason why Robert's come down to me to sort this oil leak out. It's not straightforward, it's quite intense because everything's got to come off. So all the rocker cover, all the pipe work, pin it all up, time it all up. That means we're going to be renewing the crank bolt, we're going to be renewing this, renewing that. Just for the dealer is, well, I don't know how to describe it really. Incompetence, that's the word. They should have sealed that up properly. There is a way of doing it. You know, you can't just take it off, give it a quick clean up, whack on the sealer and bolt it back together. It doesn't work like that. You know, the way that you prep things is more, it's like painting I mean, I'm not a painter, body shop, and, you know, not my field of expertise, but I do know that preparation is the most important thing. So if you prep a car, you could be the best painter in the world and using the best paint in the world. If the car is not prepped properly, it's going to be a not very good job, is it? And it's the same with this. If you don't prep it properly, both of the surfaces, and apply the sealer in the correct manner and in the correct areas, and torque it up in the correct procedure, then it's going to leak, isn't it? I mean, don't get me wrong. Look, things leak from time to time. You know, we've done stuff, everybody has, where you think, oh, how is that leaking? It just happens sometimes, doesn't it? But if you do the best you can to prevent it in the first place, well, and you learn from things about, you know, how you do things. But, so anyway, so all this is going to be, all the front end's coming off, the intake, everything. We'll address all that issue first. It's having a pearl alloy intercooler in satin silver, which you'll see. We can stencil that up. It's the same as what we run on the demo car. It's having the same boost pipe kit. Difference is on the boost pipe kit, that's pearl alloy again, and have 2 bosses welded into it as per our demo car. That allows for the meth nozzle into the charge pipe, or boost pipe, whatever you want to call it, and for the boost feed to pick up the vacuum or pressure to activate the meth. All right, and then obviously the inlet's going to come off. We're not changing it for, he's not going for a cast one, he's keeping it as OE like ours, and then we'll be tapping for, obviously lose that lug there, we'll tap it in for the meth nozzles as per ours. Interior side of it, that's going to come out on the passenger side, all the trims and everything, which we'll share with you to feed all lines through and tag it all in. It's quite a in-depth install, so it's quite involved. What else are we doing on it, Timmy?
I can't remember.
Well, obviously we're going to servicing.
Oh yeah.
Plugs and all those sort of nonsense as well, haven't we? Yeah, you'll see the way that it's going to have the same setup as ours with the tank, the 2-gallon race up tank. Alright, so all the system that we use is going to be Cool Boost, Cool and Mist, Devil Zone, all from our, again, one of our other technical partners, which is what they are. You know, that's Bruce at Devil Zone. Superb, chat to him a couple of times a week, and we're always catching up with stuff, ongoing stuff, which we're going to be doing. But so Robert came down on what would be the weekend. This is now the Monday that we're starting this video, Monday the 22nd.
Yeah.
So Robert came down on the Saturday, yes, which will be the
20th.
After you quicker than me, I see your brain works a bit quicker on that, isn't it? So yeah, so he's come down with his partner. Lots of questions been asked about the meth kit, how does the car go, how does it perform, and all this sort of stuff. And you know, we chatted about that. But the main thing is let the car do the talking. There's no point, you know, this is not the same as me telling the customer what it's like. He needs to go in the car. So what we done was our chief test driver, old Rich Cycle Sanders. It's quite good on Saturday actually. The weather was fantastic. Rich came up. Tim was here, who does all our graphic designing and big part of the team. Malcolm came up, one of our customers, and Carlos was here. So we had 3 RT330 equipped Fiestas here, and our demo car. See, we had the MSRT van, which will be loaded up on our channel. I don't know whether before or after this, I don't know. So we'll see what Timmy when he does it. But you had that on the do, didn't you, with the Steinbauer and one of the Steinbauer intakes, which is, so you were busy doing that.
Yeah.
Really get involved in what we were doing. But anyway, there's loads of videos that we've done with the 3 Fiestas being here. We'll share all that. That will be uploaded soon, social media, etc. But anyway, so Rich just took Robert and his partner out. I didn't say anything to him. I just said, go out in the car with Rich. When you come back, let me know your feelings. And because there's been a little bit of debate, Robert's part of various groups, I think, with the Mark 3s. We're not. We don't get involved in any of that. Obviously, it's not our style. We just, you know, we're a business at the end of the day, aren't we? So we tend to stay away from that side of it. But yeah, so car done all the talking. When Rennie come back, there's a few comments on there about you know, dubious about whether it would do what it says it does. But again, none of that interests me. I know what it does. A bit like the Fiesta. So when he come back, he got out of the car and I said, how did you find it? And the first thing he said to me was, I want that on my car right now. Now that's a good reaction, isn't it, to me? It's all about first reactions, isn't it? Mm. Now there was already reactions in the car whilst out with Rich. There always is a bit of reaction actually when you're out with Rich in the car, because you know, you're on the, you know, you hold on tight. It's always a bit like being on a fairground ride to me, isn't it? A little bit, yeah. Yeah, a little bit, isn't it? So, but I'll let Rich talk to you about that. And better him talk to you about it. He's the one driving. Please remember that, you know, as people said, you know, we're Regal dealers, of course we are, you know, first and foremost. But at the end of the day, upgrades that Regal do not offer, where we can then create something of our own doing, which is, you know, it's our own custom software, our own custom hardware, which you can clearly see, and you'll see when we start going through this. Figures to match. All right, so there's you know, it's whatever the, you know, the customer's requirements, as I keep saying, you know, it's whatever they want, and we can accommodate. But anyway, so that's just a bit of a you know, just an overview really of what the car is here for, and that's it. There's lots to do, lots to be getting on with. Let's crack on to me. Right, welcome back to Robert's Mark 3 Focus RS. So we've took the inlet manifold off because I don't have to take the inlet manifold off to do the cover, but the reason I took the inlet manifold off is because we've got a drill for the meth nozzles. So that came off. When I took that off, I looked down into the inlet ports and the valves, and it's quite common for the DI engines, as I've said before, to carbon up the valves. That's just normal. Not just on Ford, but BMWs and Minis are quite bad for it. Some worse than others. It's really difficult to combat the problem and stop it from happening. The way you can stop it from happening, and you'll never completely eradicate it, but the methanol like we said, is an internal cleanser as well. So if you've got a squeaky clean valve and from new, it'll keep the valves clean. Right? You're still going to get some minor build up. That's natural, but nothing to the extent of if you weren't running methanol. So this is where I think Rich was mentioning, and I've said before, so many advantages to it. First and foremost, it's an octane booster. Then you've got the charge temperature, so it keeps all your temps down, and then it cleanses the internals of the engine as well. So it's 3 added benefits there, which race fuel won't give you that. It'll give you the octane, it'll give you some sort of cooling, because fuel is a cooler as well, as we know, but it won't give you the same as what meth does. Nothing does that I know of. You know, Bruce will tell you that. If you speak to Bruce at Devil's Own, he'll give you a right old explanation for the benefits of methanol. And it's been tried and tested, it's been around for many, many years. Okay, but you got to know what you're doing with it. It's not every, you know, mapper likes to have had any experience with it and are not confident to work with it. Fortunately, we've got Tommy from Velocity Tuning, is a master with it, as he's proved with his BMW. He's a BMW man. So that's the route that we went, okay? But anyway, so they're quite carbon, we've covered it up at the moment, but they're not bad, but there's a build-up of carbon there. Robert knows about it. I have to point that out to him. It would be wrong for me not to point it out to him, and he's not happy with that. So, because I'm taking the front cover off, I'm sort of like, you know, involved anyway. So it's not a lot more to go. It's quite a bit more work to do. Obviously, I've got to get the turbo, move that out of the way, disconnect all the rest of the bits and pieces, and then pull the head off. So there is other ways of doing it, which we've looked into. You can do walnut blasting, where you can do it in place and all that sort of stuff. But first off, it's finding somebody who's mobile that does it. It wouldn't be beneficial for me I've looked into it, but you'd have to be to justify having that you'd have to have you'd have to be doing it quite a bit to make it work for itself. Okay, so look, the proper way of doing it is to take the head off and pull all the valves out, you know, decarbon them all, reseat them all back in again, and then start again with the methanol. But there are other means of doing it, but that's the way that I'm going to do it. You know, the walnut blasting, yes, it works. Of course it does. You know, it's tried and tested, but it's the time side of it and finding somebody who's mobile. And the customer, it's his decision at the end of the day. I'll give him all the options, but he wants me to take the head off, and he'd rather me take all the valves out and decoke them, relap them in. Means a new head gasket, but it gives us chance then, because obviously we weren't going to do this. It's only come about because of the condition of the inlet valves. But we've decided that's what we're going to do, and whilst the head's off, then we'll make a decision about what we do with we're not going to forge it or anything like that, but if we got the head off, it makes sense. Maybe we will put a deck brace in it. I don't know yet. We'll see what happens. We'll put a deck brace in it. We'll ARP stud it. Again, why wouldn't you? The head's off. Might as well do it. And that, we don't need to forge it. Ours is not forged, and that's the whole point of testing the 455 methanol map software. So you don't need to, you know, forge your engine and all that sort of stuff. Mine's not forged. Okay, so and then later down the road, he's got his plans which he wants to do, our 2 litre block conversion. So we don't want to be spending too much money on it, because if that's what he's going to do in the near future, it doesn't make sense to throw loads of money at that block. But given the deck brace on it, it just supports it, and with all the methanol that he's having, with all the cooling that's going on, there's less chance of, there's a risk of anything. It doesn't matter if you could build the best race engine in the world, you know, Formula 1 cars fail, you know, WRC cars fail. It's just, at the end of the day, it's a moving mechanical working part in it of an engine, but you can just do preventative side of it and just do the best you can and test it, and if you're happy with it, then you know, away you go. So, but yeah, so the next phase is, Timmy, we'll pull the head off, and then we'll talk it through you know, we'll take loads of pictures, usual thing, we'll strip all, get all the valves out and all that sort of palaver, yeah?
Yep.
And then we'll decide what head gasket we want to go, whether we go for replace it with the same as was on there, which is the Recall genuine one, which is really good actually. You know, it's still a multi-layer, I think it's made by Victor Ryan, so it's a good quality gasket, or we have a Cometic multi-layer race gasket in stock, which I might fit that. It depends. We'll have to have a look and check the third thickness of the gasket and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, lots of other things going on. Obviously we're putting a sport cat on it. It's the other thing we forgot to minute. Needs a sport cat to run that, all the pipe work and all that sort of, the intake's pretty good, so we've got a mount tune one, only half mount tune, but that's absolutely fine. And then the meth install. So we've got quite a bit to do, mate, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to crack on, don't we?
That's
we're going to be sitting on camera gassing about it. I'll need to get on with it. Customer's going to be on my case house.
That's right.
You got it. So see you soon. Right, viewers, back under the bonnet of Roberts. As you can see, the cylinder head is no longer there. It's off, it's on the bench. We'll show you that in a sec. That's not supposed to be there, Timmy, is it? It's not a wee fitment, is it? There?
No, not there.
Let's go in there for a minute, yeah?
That's
We
right.
liked it there, didn't we?
Mm.
That's good. Right, so yeah, as following on from what we talked about before, with the inlet valves, they're a bit carbon dot. That was the reason, but whilst we got it apart, we might as well put a deck brace on it. Not going to worry about the rods and pistons, that's not what we're doing it for. We'll ARP stud it as well. We'll show you all that when we got them laid out on the bench. Yeah, so we'll put a deck brace in it, which, like I said, just seems silly not to when we got it apart. This is having our, as you know, our new custom hardware, custom software. Must emphasise that. And it's going to be running our 455 custom tuning with full auxiliary methanol, which we'll show you for that as we do it. The video that's just been loaded up, which Tim's done for us, which tells you all about our demo car, that's how this one come about. So it just gives you a bit of an idea of what Roberts is going to be like. He's quite excited about it, and we will share all that with you. So anyway, let's move on to the bench, Timmy, and then just show you what's going on here. We have the oil leak as well, viewers. That's one of the main reasons. And where it's leaking is, you come around here, look, Timmy. Alright, come around here, it's easy to do it around here. So basically, where it joins on the back corner here, yeah, where the head meets the block, that's where it was leaking and running along the side of the head, down, dripping down, like I said before, onto the feed pipe, onto the drain back pipe, thinking that it's leaking from that, and it's not, it's leaking from higher up. That's where it's leaking. So, reason for being that is that the sealer, this is just my own opinion, from what I've seen before, the preparation has not been done on the cylinder head or the block, or the timing casing, and the sealer, I would assume that they use the proper Ford sealant. I would hope so, it's been done at a dealer, and it's not been applied in the correct areas. It's really important that it is applied in the correct areas, and then it's fitted within 10 minutes, and it is torqued up in the correct configuration with regards to the procedure laid out by Ford. So follow them procedures, you should be good to go. All right, but on this, as we're looking at this now, so cams are out, this is all neatly laid out on our tidy box, yeah?
Yep.
Or disassembled tidy box. Is that what we're going to call it? Disassembled tidy box. That don't sound right, does it? Yeah, so cams are laid out. Tappets, yeah?
Yep.
Tappets or followers? What do we call them today?
Tappets.
Cam caps, yeah?
Yeah.
All in order, so it's exactly how it come off. So, second head gasket, obviously this is a recall one, they're fine. I'm sure they're made by Victor Rhines. Good quality, multi-layer steel, here we are. See it?
Yeah.
3-layer steel gasket, nothing wrong with these. Not sure what horsepower they can, they're like quoted for, or who knows, I don't know. You'd have to do you have to test every gasket to see which one was the best for you, to me.
Yeah.
Which one failed, I suppose. So we've got the option of fitting a replacement one of them on this one to go with the complemented by ARP studs and a deck brace, as we've already said, or we fit the Kinetic race gasket on it, which is 40,000. But I haven't decided yet. We'll make that decision later. See what I feel like in the morning.
Yeah.
So at the moment the valves are still in there. Okay, it's no point tipping the head up, you know, it's just 16 valves at the end of the day, isn't it? So we'll whip all them valves out, we'll get them all cleaned up, get them on the old wheel, clean them all up, re-lap them in, that's that job done. We'll check we'll flat edge the head to see what it's like. I mean, to be honest, the car's done 19,000 miles. It's just been back to the dealer. Although you can't trust anything they do, they can't even seal the front cover, can they? To me,
no.
So it would make sense for us to get that checked. So that'll we'll probably whip that out to our engine machinist Pete Willis out of Tavistock. He's also a race engine builder as well, and he can check it all out and see what it's. I wouldn't have thought. I would think it would be okay, to be honest. It's not that type of, there's nothing's happened to the car. It's just a precautionary thing that we're doing. So I wouldn't really see the need to resurface that head, to be honest. But you would hope that Ford would have checked it when they took it off to me, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I know the customer sort of like asked if they were going to change the cylinder head, but they didn't. I mean, to be fair, he didn't have any issues with it. It was just a precautionary recall as per normal. It wasn't it didn't have any problems with overheating or smoke or misfire or anything. So I think it's going to be fine. But we will get it checked out, get Pete checked out just to be sure. When you're at this stage, you might as well, Timmy and you.
Yeah.
So we'll get that done. We get that all bolted back on. We get all the cover sealed up properly. We get it all bolted back together, and then we can crack on with the rest of it that we got to do. So it's quite a lengthy process. The head's got to be checked and whatever. It takes a while, messing around, taking all the valves out. It's just, you like doing them collets, Timmy, didn't you?
Yeah,
it's a great job.
fun, yeah.
Great job. Fiddly is what, yeah?
Mm.
But anyway, I'm probably going to be doing that. So you don't have to worry about it, do you?
We'll see.
Yeah, that's right. All right, but yeah, that's it. We've got lots to do, so it's not just Roberts we're doing, we've got Monty's to try and crack on with. Lots happening, but we will share as much as we can with you viewers. All right, so until the next time with Roberts, which won't be too long.